say, and by they I mean the people we're on the run from, that food is an ugly business. That food is intolerant and fake, even illegal. Well, I never saw food as an ugly business at all. I always saw it as, well, charming. I mean, this food charms you. It takes you in. It makes you feel welcome. Travel is like that. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. Just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Chew right after our tunnel here with our amazing cast. My name is Anthony Gonzalez. You can find me on Twitter, essentially main place I'm at here right below, head chef at Prainntheplague. I also want to go ahead and thank our sponsors once again, Penny for a Tail, We for a Tail, for going and sponsoring this amazing event for their game, as well as for actually getting it out and showing it off. And make sure to check out that Facebook group, for more information on updates for anything Chew, not just the TTRPG, but comics as well. But as well, check out the Kickstarter, right? Give it a follow, right? It won't hurt. Helps out a lot. And without further ado, let's get to our amazing cast. To avoid confusion like last time, I'm just going to go ahead and Calliegh Mari, Dido. Let's go ahead and start there.
Hello, I'm Dido. I play Calliegh Mari. Last week I had brown hair. New country, new hair. Gotta show off my skills. And hopefully today we'll have a funeral.
Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see about that. And up next, Miss Colby Jack, ScribblingPenny.
Okay, sorry, muted. Hi everybody. I am ScribblingPenny, and tonight I will be playing the vegan Colby Jack that is against anything animal products or use of animals, and that is still mourning Chichu, the guinea pig. Is in a sad state right now, so she agrees with the funeral. It was a rough episode.
What a poor little Puchichi. We'll see you. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Chuchi gets the the respect that he deserves. Up next, Mr. Baron Hamm.
Hi, I am Leland. I am going to be playing Aaron Hamm, the hot shot. I'm wearing a green headset, so that's why the green screen's active. So that's pretty cool. Actually, I like that actually. So check that out. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited to blow some shit up, because that's just kind of what I do. It's like a byproduct of my character trying really hard at anything. So bound to be some explosions. Michael Bayify this bitch, you know what I mean?
Oh my god. And last but not least, Dinah Mama Maple, Halfling Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I am playing Dinah Maple, or Mama Maple. And I agree that the headset looked like flan when Baron was in the middle there. Dinah is a older Irish woman, and she is the mascot of the group.
All right. So we will take a look now at our conspiracy board and see what's going on here, right? So this is a good way to kind of go off and start what happened last time. Does anybody want to go ahead and recap a little bit about what happened last time? If not, that's fine. I'm happy to do it. Using
one of the most memorable
Demon alpacas.
Was, yeah.
Demon
alpaca,
alpaca,
the alpacas surrounding us and a horde. So alpaca, that was a word I heard combined with another word.
Maybe we should
So,
show that board
that
while
was
we're
cool.
talking about last time.
Oh yeah, because that other
Oh,
board
it's
was
a little chaotic.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's got quite a lot on it. So far, so on
Cool
this one,
Ranch
you know, we
Doritos
got
have been banned. That's
yeah.
important.
So we got the two
Mhm.
conspiracies on here. Oh man, yeah, this is the board. This is the board. All right, so let's before we transition over. You know, this is the funnest thing about it. Is there's so many core boards, you know, and so many ways to put it together. So, who would like to delineate this?
Let's see, we were blacklisted, and then our
Mhm.
plane was shot down
That's true.
in Peru.
With missiles.
In Peru with missiles,
Yeah.
Mike Appleby is a grade A jerk.
he is.
Yeah, we're gonna kick
So-
his nards.
Not sure why Mike Appleby and the FDA have blacklisted everybody. It is a conspiracy that's up there. You know, that you did find out that Aymara was, you know, everybody was, the team was right. The agents were correct for their first mystery that Aymara did in fact call down command of the surface-to-air missile to down the cargo plane that required Colby Jack the vegan to utilize a chicken gizzard backpack to get down.
And there was a literal pipeline of cheesy chicken delight, is what I call it. And
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
And Baron made it explode.
Yeah, I revealed that shit with my explosive byproduct of trying hard. I threw a bomb. Like I feel like that's just my character throwing bombs.
Yep. Protein like that can't be kept under wraps. You know, sometimes it just bubbles to the surface with all that the cheese, and it just, you know, it spills over one day. That's what happens. We also figured out that the alpacas had, you know, when we say demon alpacas, that they have some sort of like human characteristics. You know, that they're acting like people. You know, they seem to have, you know, intelligent thought. El Guerrillo, you know, the egg leader, has kind of calmed down. You know, gone back to his tent, you know, and kind of contemplated what's going on. They're packing up. They're getting ready to move on out. The Midagri and Dario Lima, with his sour voice, continue to say, "Come on, back to Lima," you know, and they're just done, right? They want to get out. They want to go back. Things are wrapping up. Aymara is you know, under lock and key. But before these groups finally split off, you know, the village, almost a small town because of how large it is, gathers together for a final funeral on the hill with a small gravestone in circular form for Chuchi, the Gui to be that was never to be, the guinea pig that is who he is. Would anybody like to say a few words, a eulogy for Chuchi? Please, Colby.
Colby will just sort of walk forward. You could see that her eyes are like very red rimmed. So she's been crying, just puffy and just so sad. And she looks down at this small like grave of freshly churned dirt. Chuchi, we didn't deserve your light, and your heart was just too much for the cruelty of this world, and for this short time that you were here, that we met you, probably about 5 hours in total, you touched our lives and changed us just so much. And she's like on the verge of tears, and just I hope that wherever you are, that you're happy and free in your little guinea pig world, and that nobody will try to ever eat you again. And then she just sort of breaks down into tears.
For a moment, the glow of this sebopathic, long-living guinea pig kind of washes over you, and then you feel the radiance of this guinea pig that once was kind of reach down and touch your shoulder for a little bit. You know, it's just it's in the air, it's in the land, it's on the wind. Chuchi's here. They lower Chuchi's little funeral casket down on a small tray of twine and sturdy kind of like sticks, almost like bamboo pieces. Eventually just kind of setting it down carefully and beginning the digging process. Aymara turns to everyone, all the agents, and says, Mira, los que quieren fallar, those who want to screw you, recuerda que ellos no tienen nada para ofrecer a ustedes. They have nothing to offer you. No te falta el medio que recuerda que necesitas. ¿En qué país veniste para hacer qué? Remember that you came here for a reason. Why? What was that? She turns in hands and chains as Dario Lima sourly escorts her off. Suddenly, the town is empty, waiting. The only ones left that you can possibly see, alpaca and sheep inching ever closer, until finally you're at, really, you can see the whites in their eyes. They're approaching you.
Callie's giving Colby a hug after that touching piggy eulogy.
What kind of rat was that?
They
He's
didn't
just
deserve
too good
his
for
right.
us. No.
Like Doritos.
First hat off.
That's for damn sure.
Thank you, Collie.
You see its little face light up when it bit my finger. I ain't never seen nothing like that, except for when I look in the mirror when I eat Doritos. So, I feel like I feel a little bit too sad about this, you know. Like, I've ran over many street rats before, both literally and figuratively, back in my old gig when I was working the beat. Why did it have to die?
And then Baron sort of just drowns his tears into a fresh bag of Doritos while they're and just sort of watches them bury him.
The cheese dust kind of picks up, you know, and it really kind of gets all in your face, and you smell something similar. The stale air of trapped inside the Doritos bag smells somewhat similar to the cheesy chicken surprise you're smelling, you're seeing outside. Both of them smell like plastic. The llamas, the alpaca, and their sheep friends inch off for a little bit to allow Freddy to kind of, you know, just squeeze in there for a little bit. Nikki, Dinah, it's not all chicken. They've been cutting it.
What are they cutting it with?
I know you saw the same thing as me last time. Pulled plus. She kind of like covers her mouth as she kind of goes off. Essentially, she admits to you that although they were indigenous people in a semi-rural village, trying to keep to tradition, this cheesy chicken pipeline is not 100% grade A chicken. They know. Yeah, exactly. So she feels in particular, you saw the same Pult Plus helicopter I did. That was the last of the shipment that they were getting off. It's not. It's either chog or it's something else. And she doesn't really give an explanation as to what chog is. So.
All right then. Take that back to Callie. I'll let Callie know. I'm not sure what it has to do with us being blacklisted, but it's definitely interesting information.
The stuff about chog, she called it?
I'm not sure what that refers to, but I really don't want to ask her. She's not my favorite person to talk to.
I mean, I have to commend you that you did take a few seconds out of a gunfight to kick her.
She deserved it.
Oh, I've heard your stories. I agree. She deserved it. I just thought it was even funnier that it was right during a gunfight. Granted, we didn't have the guns, so it wasn't all bad.
Right. Should we try talking to the llamas? Alpacas? Should we try talking to the alpacas?
You know what? I think that Colby, wouldn't that cheer you up? Talking to the alpacas, see what they know about this chog. And
Maybe.
the Pult Plus, is that what it was, Dinah?
I believe so. Let's go find some alpaca food.
Before, you approach these alpaca, it's been a couple hours. You take a look over at the chicken cheese lava that started to kind of almost make its way down the mountain towards Huancaño. Like the people are, the Midagri are erecting kind of like a small, like a levee to sort of block the chicken cheese tidal wave that's coming. But they were, the volume of it was so much that they really expected a tidal wave. About halfway through its falling down the mountain, it starts to crust as hard as acrylic. And you can see truly the amount of preservatives, toxins, plastic that's in this chicken cheese surprise. It doesn't even make it down the mountain. So that's the burning smell that Baron was, yeah, similar to the cheese dust that Baron was sniffing earlier. The alpaca are defending the sheep, and sort of, with about, I would say, roughly 60 alpaca. I'm sorry, about 90 alpaca to about 60 sheep, in a surrounding circle with the sheep in the middle, kind of leading them along. Strangely, you do hear the sheep clucking. They do not seem to show the same human characteristics that these freestanding, multi-digited, ambidextrous alpacas do.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a an unintelligent woman, but sheep don't cluck, right?
I mean, unless they're
well-
like chicken and sheep's clothing.
I've never heard
Kind
one.
of like a
but
cheap.
Things are kind of weird around here.
Would it be a chicken?
Sounds good to me. Might be confusing though.
This whole thing is confusing.
Well, ain't that the
Baron, why don't you
Eh.
go talk to Freddy's Betty? Well, I'm certainly not going to do it again, but if we want more information, maybe you can get it out of her. It's
What do you
all right with me if
want me to
you weren't nice to her about it.
Well,
That's any consolation.
I could make something blow up.
You could.
Are you advocating violence?
No,
I said no such
I
thing.
said something, not someone. Unless you want me to blow up someone. A little bit too much paperwork after that, though.
Remember what happened last time that you blew someone up? That was like 2 months of paperwork.
Exactly.
But we've been blacklisted, so there's no paperwork anymore.
Yeah, also true. All right. What do you want me to ask him?
Were we blacklisted because he blew someone up?
Oh
Is this
no,
Oh no,
Ham's
we were
fault?
just suspended for like.
he's been doing that since he
We were just
started
suspended
joining,
for, like,
since he
a week.
joined us. Yeah, it's monthly.
That's why they hired me. No, I was forced into retirement because, well, I stole the boss's yogurt one too many times.
Do you even eat it, or do you just like to steal it?
It's a little of both, if you ask.
I did ask.
Gotta get,
And thanks
I
for
gotta,
the answer, I suppose.
I gotta get my probiotics in.
Gotta make sure you have a healthy digestive tract for whatever's
Yeah,
coming
all
up.
the Dorito, all the Doritos.
He's gotta be regular.
He's gotta,
He's
yeah,
gotta be
he's
regular.
gotta eat something to counteract all the Dorito dust.
Something else is gonna explode.
15 grams of fiber minimum daily. Okay. So about one alpaca separates himself from the pack. They kind of make space for this alpaca. Standing upright, probably with better stature than you've seen some of the other alpaca move. And the alpaca starts speaking to you. Listen. Mira. Nosotros estamos hablando contigo, pero anteriormente nosotros no queríamos hacer eso porque nosotros no podíamos como concentrar que ustedes, que es vos, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Qué está pasando aquí con ustedes? Basically, in this Argentinian thick accent, you're kind of taken aback by the eloquence of this particular alpaca. In fact, he even says the traditional "Che, boludo, ¿cómo va?" Right? And he's really like, wow. He seems affectionate. He seems open to you. And essentially, he was saying that he didn't know what was going on with you earlier, and that's why he didn't want to present himself. But after seeing what you've done, he feels like he really can. Mira, ellos, Montero, and we have the first mention of a very particular, entity of interest in the genetic manipulation conspiracy there on the corkboard. We don't really know how they're involved here, but they definitely are. Ellos Montero. Um, you know, nosotros no sabemos a dónde, que vos eren, pero aquí Montero es una compañía que nosotros no podemos controlar. I don't know where you guys are from, but Montero is an industry that we can't control here. Ellos están en Argentina, allí, al lado de una ciudad que que tiene mucha edad, está muy viejo. And they're talking about a city that's very old. They're looking for to kind of. They all start kind of looking in that direction, in the direction that the helicopter was going, and they're like, "Por favor, ayúdame y que vamos a caminar el continente aquí y que ustedes, que vos, vamos a ayudar a nosotros." We can't make it by ourselves, but we need your help getting there. They kind of lean over and they kind of want you to, you would assume that the alpaca would just stand upright and you'd kind of hop on. But they prefer to stay bipedal. And so they kind of want you to piggyback, is what they're proposing.
After you, Baron.
Kind of holding out hoofs.
If anybody's gonna do this first, me anyway. Hold still, you damn thing.
When the alpaca mentioned the name Montero, Callie's eyes kind of like got wide a little bit. Not like too much, but like a wide as in she actually recognized the name.
Lil Nas X fan. All right. Anyway, my character is gonna hop on the back of this old alpaca. That rhymed kind of.
I guess I'll call.
You're gonna.
I can.
Okay, so
hop
we're hopping on. Is that
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, piggyback.
Yeah, bro.
You said. Alpaca back.
If it looks safe
Alpaca
after
backpack.
Baron does it. Alpaca pack. If it looks safe after Baron
Feedback?
does it, I'll hop on.
If Granny does it, the rest of you have to do it. Otherwise, that's just. What are you doing?
Yo no sé lo que vos querés, pero puede avanzar con nosotros, and they're kind of like really, they're seemingly affectionate. They're trying to like kind of almost like push you a little bit into going in there. Like, hey, it's okay, come on, hop on.
So let me get this straight. All of us on you are going to walk caminando a Argentina.
Sí, va a tomar, pensamos como 28 días, pero, si es para llegar a Buenos Aires, pero para llegar ahí, pero si es un poquitico más difícil.
28 días?
So essentially they're saying a month. They're saying like, it's going to take about a month, about 28 days to get there, to walk to Buenos Aires, which you're not sure why they're going there, but that's currently their destination that they list. You see Freddy hop on immediately without issue, as if Freddy has done this before. and one of the alpacas goes up to her and says, "Shketi!" And kind of like hoof bumps fist with Freddy. Freddy seems to know these, and Freddy says, they don't like to be called alpacas. They're known as the pakash. The pacas. They're the pacas.
Of course, she's
I
coming
just
with
don't
us.
feel comfortable utilizing an animal for my own use and travel and leisure.
I thought the reason that vegans didn't like to use animal products was because you can't ask permission, and in this case, they're actually telling you to do it. And offering.
Yeah, they like being ridden. See?
It is fully
Look how
consensual.
much fun this
It
one's
is
at.
fully consensual. It is fully consensual fighting. Yeah, and as Baron says it, it points to the Pakash, like kind of duking it out, play fighting with Freddy. You know, having some good old mountain times. Make a sweater.
Yeah,
You mind if I
Colby
smoke?
looks like her world has completely turned upside down, and she is so confused.
Dear,
But
I
she'll, like,
think this is
ask
the best
permission.
way for you. I think this is the best way for you to make an alpaca friend. Look at what's going on over there.
Does the
Did you see the
alpaca
fist bump?
consent
Alpacas for life.
to me smoking a cigarette on the back? Is that like is that allowed on this ride? Is that allowed?
Yeah, Callie kind of hikes up her dress so that she could make it cover the rest of her when she's up on the back of this alpaca.
The cheap look at you, which is to say that the chicken sheep. They're like,
Okay.
I was kind of scared. A little scared of these the new friends. They do start if there's no other particular fun interactions. They say that they will start at nighttime, and this is specifically because of something that they, upon a little bit of travel. And here's where we're going to go into like kind of like a downtime phase to recover from conditions and appetite that we had last time. So this is going to be a 28-day trip. It's not necessarily going to be like a skill challenge where you're going to have to like roll for avoiding rock slides and stuff like that. It's more so just going to be downtime for the agents to decide what they want to discuss, what they want to pursue, amongst a little bit of fun details. So the biggest thing that the Pakash tell you is that they only like to travel under cover of night because they say they cannot see without the moonlight. Right. And so they seem to treat this moonlight as sort of sacred. They, for each of these days, you only travel 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours each night until the dawn starts, and they stop and graze. At this point, you'll have a lot of options in terms of downtime. You'll be able to connect amongst yourselves in order to restore appetite and get rid of conditions. You'll be able to connect with the alpacas if you wish, or you'll be able to roll to work at the case if you wanted to kind of think about some of the conspiracies and clues more deeply while we were traveling. There's all sorts of different kind of things you can do. So whoever would like to begin.
So with downtime, do we have to do the things that are listed as things we have to do to clear conditions, or?
Exactly. And so the thought is that, and so this is for the audience. So there's conditions, and the 4 conditions are manipulative, ruthless, impulsive, and cocky. And so you can kind of get rid of one of these conditions by doing something that exemplifies that condition directed towards one of your allies. If you are manipulative or suffering from the manipulative condition, you can try and trick one of your agents, one of your fellow agents, to sort of get rid of that and kind of sort of maybe pass that condition on to them or get them closer in that direction. So you always have to do something that it ties to in order to get rid of it. And yes, you could.
Okay. So one of the things it says I have to do is invite trouble.
Okay. That's a fun one. Obviously, your trouble
And I
is
have a couple
manifest
ideas.
physical. Yeah, it's before you. What do you want to do?
I have a couple ideas. So I want to ask the group what they think. So either I was gonna have Dinah. So we're in like the middle, we're in the middle of nowhere, correct?
Yeah. So you are traveling. I
Jungly
would say
area.
you're just crossing the border to Bolivia. It's been about 6 days, and
What's the
you're only going to be in
landscape
Bolivia. I would say that you've just passed roughly like the Andes mountain ranges, and now you're getting towards a little bit more of a flat land, hilly type area.
Rivers?
There are brooks, there are streams, if you're interested in getting to a water body.
Okay, so one idea was to decide to cross the river on her own. That was one idea I had, and the other idea I had was to start a fight with Sketty.
What would you like to do? Because both of those sound great.
I want to know what the rest of the team thinks.
Well, both Baron and I like violence, so if that tells you which where to go. In games, though, I'm not a violent person in real life. Just clarifying.
That actually, I like the Sketty idea because I also have to invite trouble. So I was gonna
Oh my
try to
God,
convince Sketty that that Dinah really wanted to talk to her, like alone.
What if Callie actually went to Dinah to egg Dinah on to start a fight with Sketty?
The perfect ruse. Nobody would know.
I love that.
It's like a domino effect of inviting trouble.
Synergy.
It's just the easiest trouble to get into right now, in the middle of
To get in a fight with my ex. All right. What would Callie say to Dinah to get this fight started?
You know, Mama, I never really liked Sketty ever since you started telling me about her. And the fact that she's here and she works for the USDA? Isn't that what it's, the USDA?
Yes.
Yep.
I think she needs to be put in her place. And what better person to do that than Mama? And Tofu.
That's a very good point. And I do believe that this is our mission, not hers. That she's kind of taken over on. I'm not okay with it.
That is what the USDA tends to do.
Stuck their nose in it, for sure.
Baron walks by and overhears this part, and overhears it, and peeks his head in and goes,
Sir Duds.
What was that?
and then just walks off.
He said assert your
Cut out.
dominance.
Assert dominance.
All right. So, Dinah's gonna get off her llama and march right over and put her hands on her hips. And I mean, she is a small, plump, 70-year-old woman. She just looks at her. She's like, now you see her, Sketty, this is our mission, and you're just here along for it. If any calls need to be made, it's going to be made by me and my crew here, not by you. You have a problem with that?
Maybe. And so for me, does inviting trouble require you to roll at all?
I don't know. I don't know how they. I have not read the rules that clearly.
No, that's okay. Let me see if I can find it.
It just says to invite trouble on our spreadsheets, but in the reference here.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
figure it
So
out.
because we are doing like a downtime activity, I do want to do like a kind of timer, a clock of sorts, especially for
Okay.
Freddy, right? Seeing as how it's your trouble. So let's. What attribute do you think that would be prescient here? I think that this would probably be a standard position, a standard effect, but I'd say it'd be about a risky position. Um, what do you think you'd like to use for that? This will be the first roll of the game.
I think that I want to use her, like the same skills that she uses for charm, she also uses for, like, intimidation and manipulating people, so I want to use charm for it.
Okay, that's a great idea.
And if I have 2 points in that, so
I
I
have
roll
a-
2d6, right?
I
Oh,
have
go
a
ahead.
question.
Mhm.
My thing. You said this is downtime. A downtime activity.
This is a downtime activities.
Can I use my thing to help? I have hands on. When
Yes.
you partner with someone during downtime activity, I don't
Wow.
provide the D6, but it's a +1. As long as I dictate the conditions of the roll, I would like her to also use her tough cookie, because I think that would be very dominant to do in this situation.
Dinah, do you accept these conditions? To use your tough cookie approach for an extra D6?
I like it.
Okay.
And then it would also be a
So-
+1 on top of that.
So 4, you're saying?
So it's a
3D6.
D6 because of... Yeah, sorry.
We're up to, so I have 2, getting 1 from Callie, and then +1 to the in total roll, not +1 d6, correct?
Oh man, yep, that's 4. So let's. Oh,
Is it
so
+1 more d6 or just +1 a point?
well,
It would
would
be
be
3d6 plus
Uh-huh.
1.
Got it.
+1 exactly, because there's also a lend a
Plus
hand,
1.
I think, aspect there. So 4,
11.
11. Well, but what was your highest roll?
4. So 5 total
4.
with the +1.
Let's see. Okay, so
So
it's
5
it's
total with
definitely
the
better.
+1.
Yeah, it's definitely better than you thought, but there's some complications, right? So the consequence here is that what do you say to your in trouble relationship partner, previously, with this tough cookie approach?
What I said before about how it's our mission and she better
Okay.
follow our orders.
You better be on it. Okay, that
Or
you're
L.
right. That already qualified as tough cookie. That was already pretty tough. Yeah. Okay, so you do it, but you kind of get red faced. You huff a bit, right? And she doesn't take you as seriously, as you might like. And she pulls out Sweet Pea, her cybernetic kitty, starts petting, Mao, Mao. And he's just got circuits, right? He's kind of frizzing out a little bit. And she kind of looks at you and she says, "Listen, Dinah, or Mom, as they call you now, you don't know how deep this goes. You guys, FDA, you don't have any power here. You don't, why do you think you're in the situation that you're in? I probably shouldn't say any more. All you need to know, this goes up the whole ladder. Not just yours, mine too. But you do well to remember that. And she gives you this information, that it's the USDA is somehow, the administration of the USDA is somehow implicated in this. For what reason, you're not really sure why, and that's a good thing to add to the board. That the USDA has a maybe more negative connotation involvement than we previously thought. However, the stress of it is hard for these old bones, and it took quite a lot of energy out of you to get this information. What was going on. Here, the consequence would be that you would actually gain a condition during your downtime, and that would be the impulsive condition. I'm sorry, the cocky condition, which is just sort of, you felt like you really could get in there. You really could kind of explain everything that you had to her. Sorry.
I have manipulative, ruthless, impulsive, and insecure.
Yeah, so insecure has now become cocky, and so
Okay.
that's their analogs. Yeah, so that you can just mark it as insecure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, fun living document times. So that's what you get. That's Dinah and Calliegh's. Colby and Baron, what downtime activities would you, either of you like to do?
Actually,
Thinking,
go ahead.
no, you could go ahead.
Okay. I needed to recover my appetite, so I was going to do the just rest and recover downtime option.
Great. Yeah, the classic.
The classic sit back, relax, eat some Cheetos, and drink some whatever the
Cheetos.
local alcoholic beverage is. That's common. Maybe a little bit more of that coca juice that they were serving. A good old time.
All right. Yeah. So, what approaches would you like to take into this? You get 1d6 for every approach, and if a partner wants to assist on one of those approaches, you would get an extra d6.
Could you give me an example?
Colby will assist.
Colby will assist. Okay. Let's see which approach
She will
you think
not
would
eat
be
the
most.
Cheetos.
Bold, maybe. Already is it? Am I
Bold.
picking an approach I already have?
Yeah. So it's any one of the three, that you'd like to do. That would be the way to go. And the more you add, the more you can argue for, the more d6s you get,
Okay.
or you feel are relevant.
Let's see. Yeah, I have the three approaches I have are tough cookie, bold, and half baked. I'm trying to figure which one do you think?
So
Most-
half baked, I could think that it's like just being, like hanging off the alpaca in a way that you shouldn't, right? Like you're just really not caring about your position, and just just being tough, being mean to your alpaca, maybe like maybe using the hair as a place to put things, hair food, kind of stock your Doritos in case.
I got it. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, I was just kind of confused for just a moment there.
Yeah. So it sounds like you got with one, the bold. Would you like to use any of the others?
Maybe tough cookie. I could be like working out. Also,
You're working out on the alpaca. So, okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. So you hammer space some weights, and you just kind of reach in your coat and just pull out 35-pound weight.
How about
on the other side.
I got a better idea. I've got
Uh-huh.
a shake weight on hand, so I just pull out the shake weight. I'm just shake weighting on the back of the alpaca.
The alpaca actually does enjoy it. It feels like it really can't get massages like that through its thick coat. So it's really enjoying the attention that it's getting. You definitely go a little bit faster and feels a little more sturdy, less tense. Colby, how would you
Perfect.
like to assist?
I feel like Colby would actually be like nagging Baron about like how he shouldn't be doing these things, and like you cannot wipe Cheeto dust on the alpaca's fur, and just like all of her complaining and nagging just makes Baron be even more half-baked and like lazy, and like just emboldens him to keep going because it's bugging her,
Perfect.
essentially.
Spike, my favorite weapon,
Yeah.
besides Doritos.
Pointy triangular objects that can pierce. That's my everything. Okay. No, that's awesome. So let's roll 3. It sounds like 3d6. Let's see how that works out. A 4.
Yeah.
A 4.
Ooh.
So let's. You actually recover as much appetite as equal to that roll. So you regain 4 appetite, as compared from where you were last time, which I believe was at about 2 left. So you should be at about 6 appetites, 2 down from your maximum of 8. In this time, while they continue to kind of only move at night, only search after this crescent moon, that they seem to be going after over these days that you're going. Basically a month, they go through a full lunar cycle. And you notice that they run a little quicker, they move a little faster, where they're trudging up and kind of carrying your weight over the big like mountain like hills, until you finally get to the flatlands, and they're able to kind of, herd across. They seem pretty pleased with what you've done so far. Does anybody else have any other downtime activities they'd like to do before we arrive at our destination?
I would like to at some point rest and not have the other condition, and not invite trouble or do the other thing I would have to do to be not insecure anymore. Because apparently the rule is that you could choose to rest and recover in your downtime rather than doing the thing that causes trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. It is a choice. Yeah, you're allowed to kind of decide if you want to work the case, if you want to rest and recover, if you want to, essentially just call out the approaches that you'd like to use for resting, and then just roll that many d6s that you can like you feel are justified.
Got it. Okay, let me look at this. So the approaches.
That's what makes you you.
Why am I not finding approaches on this character sheet?
The memory of Chuchi is superimposed over the horizon clouds as a sort of like golden face, kind of just always this image in the background that you're hearing, you're waiting for. It guides you.
I don't remember where the approaches are on here.
It should be like the 3. So you had like, I believe, sweet pea.
Oh, there it is. Sweet pea, well aged, and tough cookie. I'm gonna go with sweet pea.
Sweet pea. Be nice.
And well aged. So she has to like get off of the llama and stretch sometimes because sitting in the same position it makes her stiff. And so while she's doing that, she makes pie.
Yeah. We don't want to tick down that joint pain clock. We'd much rather progress the pie clock. That seems like a lot more, assisting. So yeah, roll that. It sounds like you have a 2d6s. Let's
Okay.
see how that goes. Chuchi will.
3 and a 2.
A 3 and a 2. Okay, that's fine. You regain 3 appetite. Since I
Okay.
believe you were at 1 last time, so I think you'd be back at.
Yeah, but for some reason my character sheet had like almost all of it full, even though I knew I only had 1. And then do I clear insecure or no?
I will say that the pie, sort of. Can you explain how this? Just give me 1 or 2 sentences about how this pie takes away your insecurity. What about this pie do you think is healing?
Everyone loves it. Everyone thinks the pie is so good. And I know that Freddy Sketty has shit baking skills. And so that makes me feel better. Because everyone loves my pie and nobody loves her pie. Also,
These
those
little
would look really
perfect-
good. And now I want some so bad.
Right? Well, they're basically
I
your
have-
pies, right?
I have no pie vendetta is accurate.
Pie vendetta. Yeah. So the pie does heal you, and you do get that appetite back. Callie, Colby, Jack. Callie, I will say that earlier, your condition was cleared by the assisting, of Dinah earlier on, where you really partnered. Could you just give like 1 or 2 sentences about how you feel like that would have helped with your condition?
Yeah, I think secretly Callie she doesn't usually condone violence or people being spiteful to others, but every once in a while she gets this like deep seated like just this little like thing that just clicks like every once in a while, like when she feels like something didn't quite go right, and her getting drenched in cheese and chicken dust and ruining her dress and her makeup, seeing Dinah just give it to being a part of getting Dinah to just give Sketty a piece of her mind, I think really just scratched that itch that she
That's so
doesn't get
sweet.
too often.
Yeah, like it's you feel some fulfillment amongst your fellow agents, even with the very attack on your livelihood, what you've striven to be, and really you realize that none of that matters if you still have like your team, and your hearth, your home, and even now riding amongst the hind legs really for the majority part of and multi-digited hooves of these alpaca, these pakash, over about a month has really humbled you, and you feel like you can stick to the dangers of the wilds without any of that. So obviously, condition cleared. Eventually, the herd arrives upon the outskirts of the capital city of Argentina, Buenos Aires. And it's this beautiful terraced, palm tree laden, very like modern city, right? The Pakash wish to not go too close, but Freddie makes it clear that this is her stopping point. Freddie, kind of looks up to you, Dinah, and says, I have a feeling I'll see you again soon. If I can't, you've always been like this. I can't tell you what to do. You're such a tough cookie. I could never crack that crust. But hopefully this'll pierce your dough. You can't go with these Pakash. You don't know what you're getting into. I know what I said earlier, but you just hear me out, okay? They're going to take you somewhere you're going to want to go. This is my stop. And she kind of hops off. The alpaca like Freddy, and so they had agreed to go to Buenos Aires. And so now you're in this capital city, but really you realize that that's not actually their main goal. They still want to follow the moon south. They still want to go further south. Argentina is already getting to the southernmost tip of the world. You're already about really just a couple degrees off, right, from the South Pole at this point on a global scale. Things are starting to get temperate, past temperate. They're starting to get colder. The more south they want you to go. The less vegetation, the less life. The alpaca are insistent on continuing south.
Do we go? Are we gonna go with the alpaca into the freezing tundra, or do we?
I wouldn't say tundra, but definitely, colder, more, different,
Calliegh would still call it a tundra.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I didn't pack too many coats.
Wait, we're just trying to help them. If this is the way to help them, then we should go, right?
The leader of the Pakash, finally introduced themselves to you. He says, "Mira, mi nombre, me llamo Mushido 84. And that just means Fluffy. He's Fluffy 84. Esos monstruos. Todo el nombre de nosotros. Mushido. They're like, basically he's like, I hate them. They all call all of us Fluffy. Fluffy. And his name is Fluffy 84. And that's what he introduces himself as. But like I said, there seem to be about 90 Pakash and about 60 of these cheeps that they're guarding. Mujido is kind of like really he offers a little bit more about himself, and just kind of like appeals to your emotion. After riding with you for a month now.
I mean, what can we do to help you? Like, who's they? Who are these monsters that you're talking about?
Roll for me. This will be a roll. Mushido 84 is a little tentative about giving away details, but essentially he's like, okay, bueno. Si quieres oír la historia que yo tengo, ya vas a oírlo. He's like, if you really want to hear the story that I tell, sit down. Like, you're going to hear the whole thing. Ellos me corrieron de allí. They ran me off. Mi y mi familia. Esos boludos ahí. My family here, these friends, these people. I'm really referring to their humanity, in a sort of a weird twist. He talks about how me forzaron comer algo que nosotros no queríamos. They forced me to eat something that I never asked for, that none of us ever asked for. And that's about as much as he's willing to give. He just says that he wants to pay them a visit back. He needs to go back because, and with heavy breath, before he says the last of it, this is where the role would come in. This would be a great effect since he's on the verge of such a secret, but it would be a desperate situation. He's equally anxious. What attribute would you like to use for this? and why?
Ugh. Let's see. I mean, it probably. I want to use instinct, but that doesn't make sense as charm does.
It can. I mean, either way, if you wanted to go instinct, you know, you don't necessarily empathize. You can sympathize, you can empathize with animals' plights, but you can empathize with this Pakash in a way that you wouldn't normally with any other animal. You know, like it's a person. So if you wanted to refer to your nature, your knowledge of human nature, would weirdly apply to these Pakash.
Yeah.
So either way is fine.
Yeah, she'll do that. She doesn't see herself as above them in any sort of way. They're. Let's see here. That's 2D.
The Mushido 84 holds out his hoof and kind of extends his digits out of his skin, out of his like fur. So it kind of like folds out much longer than you'd expect it to, up until it's about like 2 foot long digits extending past the rough spot where its hoof used to be, offering like your hand. And in another hand, he has a traditional drink of his homeland that he picked up on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. And this is some yerba mate, some delicious tea made from the mate root. Almost like a kombucha, like very sour, but great for probiotic. He offers you a glass, and he's like, "Sí, vamos a tomar. Ustedes y toda su compañía." He thinks you're like a company because that's all he can think about. He doesn't really know about like government institutions. He's just like, you're all profiteers. You're just nicer profiteers. So roll that for me. Let's see if he tells you what's up.
I got a 10, so 2 5s.
2 5s. Okay. It's a success with a consequence. Nosotros no somos el únicos. Somos solo la mitad de nosotros. It's not just me. I'm only me and us. We only represent half of all of us. There are 90 other Bakash still at the compound. The compound. He flips over himself and he spills his yerba mate kind of all over you. And so the other Pakash start laughing at you as you begin to process this important information, and you realize that they are human. They have the positive aspects of humanity, and the negative aspects that come with it. The groupthink, the cruelty. This has become painfully clear to you, and you receive the insecure, or in this case, the insecure condition, which is kind of like the cocky condition now, but the word insecure is a little more helpful here.
Okay. Trying to just like
So
dry
covered.
herself off. Yeah. She's gonna wander over to Baron real quick. And just like very much like wide-eyed and like shocked. Can you
Got a
stop
shake
that for
weight
just
going.
a second?
Shake weight's just going this whole time.
Yeah. That really works out the chest. What do you need, Colby?
These alpaca were humans.
What?
Like
They
But
act like humans?
No. Like they were humans.
Well, that's like some Island of Dr. Moreau shit. It's fucked up. I don't really know how to react to that. Never heard of anything like that before.
What do we... Somebody's doing experiments on humans to change them into animals? I mean, I'm kind of for that sort of thing, you know, for humans to kind of finally realize the plight of the animals and what they go through, but I also conflicted.
Oh,
I mean, we should probably tell everyone else, but
definitely. This is something I wouldn't necessarily be on the fence about if I were you. Or at least I wouldn't let the others know you're on the fence. We gotta keep our alliances straight. Especially with what's happened lately. You know, being shot down by a missile.
yeah, we still don't know exactly who shot us down, do we?
Yeah, pretty sure it was that Amaya person.
Okay,
I thought
I'll
their
go
name. I remember.
I thought, well, what do we do? I'm supposed to be learning stuff from you. Like, what's the process here?
Oh, well. Take this.
And he pulls out another shake weight and says,
Work this
A
in your
second shake
routine.
weight.
That's your task for today.
Okay. Are you gonna go tell Calliegh and Mom? Am I supposed to do this now?
Yeah, you work the weight. I'll go let them know what you just told me.
and I walk away still just like, so I approach Callie and Dinah shaking a weight, making this noise.
Yeah, well, Callie is
So,
spits enough.
turns out, Colby Jack let me know something pretty messed up. You know these, alpacas? I think they used to be people. Well, sorry, Colby thinks they used to be people. And, who am I to argue? They are pretty people-like. And if that's the case, shouldn't we, I don't know, do something about it? Maybe, stop them from making more alpaca people. Something. Isn't that what we do? I don't know. Any ideas, Kelly? Or, Mama?
I think she's
Sorry,
muted.
Callie, I think you're muted, yeah. Oop.
Oh no. Technical difficulties.
The Pakash has taken her speech. They stole her voice. No. No, it's
Maybe that's what the USDA has going on. Turning people into pacas.
on that, Dinah, in the meantime, I will say that when Nikki brought out Sweet Pea for that instant pet, the Bakash stayed away. They were about they were obviously scared, and they scurried and kept about a 50-foot barrier away from Sweet Pea until Sweet Pea went back in her little backpack carrier. Mao.
So they don't enjoy weird ass android cats.
No, that's exactly correct. They do not. So that's a note for later.
Dinah's gonna turn to Colby and Colby, dear.
Yeah,
Where
Mama?
did you get the shake
Maple?
weight? Who gave you that?
Baron, Mr. Hamm. I guess he had 2.
I
That's
only gave him
Sergeant
one.
Hamm.
Was he actually? I had only
Sergeant
given him
Hamm.
one. Interesting. How do you feel about bionic cats, Colby?
How do I feel about bionic cats?
Right?
I don't like it at all. If we're to be frankly honest, you know, artificially making an animal something different, something that's not supposed to be. You know, I'm sure they didn't get the cat's consent before they, you know, put it under unnecessary surgery.
I could almost guarantee that Freddy didn't do that. Didn't ask for consent, that is. My dear
Oh boy.
Tofu, he's a regular, just a regular old dog. Which means eventually I'll lose him. But I feel better about having a dog like that than a cat like that. Weird. Did you hear how it meows? It's a little off-putting.
Mow. Mow.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not happy. But I mean, what did you see in her if you know that she does that sort of thing to animals? I mean, sorry, that's kind of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask such a personal question.
It's really fine, Colby. The thing is, she's had that cat since we were together, and that was quite a long time ago. She performed well. She was good at her job, and she's quite a good actress. That's not the person that I was with.
Immediately, one of the alpaca kind of cry out, "Sí, ese actor actúa bien." Basically saying like, yeah, she's a great actor. She acts great. And they really kind of like all agree because they're still hearing, you know, they're here for
Now,
all of
do
this,
they
but they
think
agree.
do they think she's a good actor, like she's good and behaves well, or do they know what an actor is?
They do, and they think that she is because she's lying or overplaying dramatism, or you know, she's not being as upfront as she can be, based on what they know, based on what she knows. So they kind of just accept her statements in classic Argentinian fashion, like, okay, sí entiendo, pero no te creo. Like, I understand you, but I don't believe you. is what these Pakash are very eloquently saying in regards to anything with Freddy. Freddy Sketty.
Well,
I mean, the FDA sent 4 of us. Why would the USDA only send 1?
Why?
well, if you think that the alpacas are actually people, what if she had a full crew, and they're here among the alpaca?
Then shouldn't she have stayed with the herd to make sure that they
Suddenly all the alpacas start looking at each other. You just start meeting eyes. Just whispering amongst the herd.
I mean, I guess we could just ask them.
Right, let's do it. Have some of you been double-crossed by that awful Freddy Sketty?
Or were you once USDA agents?
Or that? And she's like getting on her tippy toes because she's so little, like trying to find it.
She like raises her hand, and alpaca as high as he can. Aquí, Mushido 62. Fluffy 62. Fluffy.
That's
Mushido
Fluffy
62
62?
reporting. Yeah, reporting.
We are now
saying,
best friends. I just know it.
Ella me mintió. She lied to me. Ella me dijo que nosotros no teníamos que fallar con ese pollo terrible. Terrible. And they say, then you hear this name, El Pollo Terrible. Okay, and it basically translates to the terrible chicken. Muchos de mis amigos.
Oh, so you've had her cooking then?
She cooked chicken?
The terrible
I wouldn't
chicken.
call it cooking exactly.
More questions for later?
Yeah, so el pollo terrible is just the terrible chicken, and it could be your cooking, but the Pakash goes on to say ese pollo mató muchos de mis hermanos y hermanas, muchos de mis pibes y pibas. Basically, like, many of my sisters and brothers, my friends, were like murdered by like the terrible chicken. And her like, she's not joking anymore. Like she furrows her brows that she suddenly now has. And it's just like this woolly alpaca with a tongue out, kind of drooling, like there's no way that chicken was ever coming back in here. And so Fluffy 62 definitely seems to hold this certain contempt for this person.
When's the last time you saw the terrible chicken?
Cuando estábamos empleados por el USDA, the last time we were employed by the USDA. Employed, not like experimental, like hired. She's making it very clear.
What organization is my mic working yet?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Where did the USDA hire you from?
And you hear it for the first time. It's essentially this, she describes it as the southernmost point of Argentina, which is basically like the southernmost city in the world by distance from the South Pole. That's large enough to be considered a city. So Ushuaia is the southernmost point from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, which is about the same distance from Huancayo, where you were in Huancayo, to Buenos Aires. It's going to be another roughly like 25 days. Not from where you are now, just like, the duration of the trip. So that's where you currently are. Would anybody like to say anything before we head on over to our 10-minute break? No. So essentially they just tell you like where they are, and like we'll get there. That's where we're taking you. And so they're building a lot of this like hype over like where you're gonna go and what you're gonna be doing. Ushuaia, spelled U-S-U-I. Oh, sorry, I just want to make sure it's U-S-U-I-A-H. It's Ushuaia. And it's just like this really interesting place next to like all these different like islands and small little land masses. And they're just really excited to take you. They keep up their speed, and we're going to take a quick 10-minute break as we head on over to this area where we will initiate our investigation, our free play, and our investigation phase up here in a little bit. See you all in 10 minutes, everyone.
say, and by they I mean the people we're on the run from, that food is an ugly business. That food is intolerant and fake, even illegal. Well, I never saw food as an ugly business at all. I always saw it as, well, charming. I mean, this food charms you. It takes you in. It makes you feel welcome. Travel is like that. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. Just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Hey everyone, and we're back. All right, so last we left off, we were doing a combination of free play and downtime. It seems like we should trust the alpacas according to poll and chat. So we are full on free play. We've arrived at the city at Ushuaia, and what we see is almost a ghost town. We see villas, we see adobe structures, we see multicolored beach, almost like mini fortresses, right, to withstand both the heat and the cold of being in such an interesting area. And you know what? There's nobody here, just the herd that you came with.
Do you think maybe they're, I don't know, in like a secret base or something? That's where I'd be hiding if I was doing weird things with alpaca and people and sheep and chicken.
Yeah, probably some sort of lair around.
I mean, it's nighttime, right?
It is nighttime, so the alpaca only travel at nighttime. It is getting to the point where a waxing crescent moon is sort of forming, right, and it's a couple days before it's reached, maybe a night before it's reached peak crescent form.
All right, then let's not be so paranoid, guys. It's normal not to see people out in the streets at this time. They could just be inside sleeping.
That makes sense.
Right? So I mean, if we just go knock on some doors, I'm sure we'll find people.
What time at night is it?
Yeah, so it is pretty late. I'd say that it's about like 2 in the morning.
I don't think we should be knocking on doors at 2 in the morning. Not very courteous. Might get us the wrong attention.
Yeah, I mean, they eat dinner late down here, but not that damn late.
Yeah, I mean, my time's a little thrown off after riding an alpaca for 2 months.
It literally, so it has been like, it has been total about 2 months. It's been about maybe like 52 days total riding and maybe like 3 days resting with, alpaca like poker clubs and tent encampments, in various places. So it's the closest you've gotten to seeing other humans.
Yeah, so I kind of want to sleep in a bed, so maybe if we could wake somebody up. It's only 2 in the morning. But
I could do the saddle lady bit.
Yeah, you need to rest in a bed. Let's go knock.
Oh, these old bones. I definitely need to rest in a bed.
For Mama Maple. Right, guys? Okay, come on.
Are we just knocking on a random door?
Let's find a nice place.
I want to find the biggest house because that's usually where the mayor lives. We're gonna wake up the mayor.
So you're walking around this like city of Ushuaia, and you're seeing it's pretty well developed. You're seeing a lot of desarrollo, right? The development, which is to say like many skyscrapers, office buildings, condominium buildings, and you kind of go around floor to floor, floor to floor, and you knock and you knock. You're not finding as much as you thought that you would, but you know what? You're seeing some people on the street. In fact, it's not so rare that you're looking for just one person after some searching. You maybe find probably a couple of maybe tens, maybe probably 200 total after a couple hours of searching. However, upon getting to one of them, right? You each and any one of these people, you're able to ask, right, what's going on. They all do look pretty scared though, and so if you wanted to go look for the the biggest house, um, that person is still there. So there's a couple of scattered people with picket signs, kind of outside or pleading, a little bit emaciated for food outside of this large house with a couple of strong-armed, what seem to be red tie wearing, suit wearing, seeming to have like katanas at their sides, kind of in the middle at the door.
Do I recognize these people? Because I think I do. I think Callie recognizes them.
You think you do? Let's roll to see if you recognize this. So this would be a standard effect, and this would be an in control position. You're keeping your distance. They have their attention on other situations. Let's see what goes on.
So I would probably use training because if it's who I think it is, it would be based on my previous work and my training.
Yeah, your previous knowledge about them. Okay. So let's roll that training. If anybody wants to lend a hand, or you can dig in.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna dig in, and
Okay.
I think I'm gonna use my sucker approach too. So I kind of, as I'm trying to discern who these people are, I'm making sure that all of my makeup is in place so they don't necessarily recognize me, but that I still look put together and everything looks nice and it doesn't look like I've been traveling for 2 months on an alpaca. So if I dig in, that's an extra d6.
Yeah, so you would spend 2 appetite out of the amount that you regained earlier, down from your, whatever your new maximum was, or whatever your current amount was, and then you would add a d6 to your roll. If somebody else wants to spend 1 appetite, they can lend a hand to assist you, and then describe how they assist you. No. All right.
I'll lend a hand.
Okay.
You mark that.
So Colby is helping.
Yeah. So Colby will like pull out this notebook that she has been carrying around everywhere, and she just kind of like starts flipping through the pages, and like looking at all these names that she has written, and she's like drawn like a little caricature of each person next to their name as well, so that she can remember which name goes to which face. She's seeing like if they're in her notebook.
All right. So you're assisting, you're kind of spotting
really
in that regard.
Yeah.
What? How bad is it? 2 5s?
Nope, worse. 2 3s, a 1 and a 2.
Okay, it is definitely a failure. So in this case, Callie and Colby are kind of spotting out, looking for additional people kind of trying to find like these these contacts. You're trying to use your training, and you kind of stumble into this figure, and he kind of keeps his cool, but rebuffs and pushes you off quickly. He starts to put his hand kind of like at his sword hilt, and just kind of getting a little more wary of what's going on with these agents, these upstarts coming up, or whoever they are, pushing in. I would say that the danger clock has ticked down 1 because this was still in control. So that's fine. But it's just that where there was no attention on you before, now there's the slightest bit of attention.
Whoops.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
So I'm gonna try like correct it a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of like straighten out their shirt. I'm sorry, excuse me, it's a little dark out here. I did not see you.
Okay, just watch where you're going. I just it's really tense out here. Okay, like I don't know, I just get scared.
Why is it tense out here? Why are you scared?
We're all, we're going missing. We're going missing. A lot of us are disappearing, right? And I don't really want to talk much more about it. And he just kind of like, unless a role were to be had, from somebody, he would. Now that he knows you're there, he seems like he wants to talk, but he's just having a hard time doing it. His number 2, kind of looks at him and just like, hey, come on, like just kind of motions to stop. But it seems like he's bottling up too much. Like he can't go on too much more without it.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder. It's all right if you think that you're being, if people are disappearing, you should very much be on guard.
Can Colby give him a hug?
Yeah, so you just want to give the this red tie suit wearing, black suit wearing man with a sword a hug. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's great. Let's I think I would imagine that would be charm, unless you can discuss a different way to.
She wants to pick his pockets, but it's a hug.
All right, so.
All right. That's amazing. I did not expect that.
I'm definitely gonna assist with this. I'm gonna lend a hand.
Because he just sounded so sad, so he needed a hug.
Okay, so let's do charm or guts for that, whichever one you think is more appropriate.
Let's do guts.
Let's do guts. All right, because it's a risky.
Yeah.
So in fact, this would be a risky position, but it would be a great effect. You'd probably get something very valuable, or at least maybe understand something about what's going on.
Yeah, because she's also kind of using her bold and half-baked approach as well. Let's see here.
And I'm lending a hand.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh, okay, I got a 6.
All right. So with the 6, because it was great effect, right, and there's no failure, you give him the best hug he can, and this masked member, this warrior, kind of hugs you, Right. Yeah, and you're able to take um, a key card that he has to the locked building behind him. Um, it's a big area. I mean, it's a city, so there are multiple entrances. Um, you don't necessarily have to go through this one, and you already know that. You do have the key card, so it just depends on if you want to continue trying to woo them over in some way, or finagle out back or something.
Yeah, so as she sort of gives him this hug and is also rifling through his pockets, she would just, like, she's like rubbing his back. She's like, it sounds like you've worked really, really hard. In a dark place that's scary, and I just want you to know that you're really appreciated, and thank you for keeping these things safe, and you have the strength to overcome this, okay? You got this.
Okay, all right. Look, I believe you. And then he offers you a dulce de leche, and he just offers little, he's just like a little cup pudding, where it's like it's cuatro leches, where it's like, so it's soft cake, with like whipped cream on it, and then dulce de leche on top, kind of mixed together into this very like sweet concoction. We have all these lying around.
When's the last time you had a treat for yourself?
I mean, I eat these every day, but you know what? They've just lost their meaning. I don't have anybody to share it with anymore. Everybody's just gone. He says, ever since we thought that we were safe, we thought that we had, made a deal with the right people. But it's clear that Edwin Castillo, he doesn't know what's going on. You finally get a name for this person. He goes on to tell you about how this particular person represents Montero in the area, and how he's been sort of leading the Montero area here, the Montero like effort, and kind of developing new genetic creatures and playing with things he shouldn't be. He does it in a national park about southwest of the city, maybe like 30 minutes. Like it's basically as soon as you get out of the city, it's like right there, on like a key or a mini archipelago of sorts. And so it's called the Parque Nacional Alberto de Agostini, right? And so it's named after Albert Agostini, with kind of like miles of unexplored, left alone by prying eyes or other institutions, where a lot of wildlife roam free, namely sheep, chicken, alpacas, beef, so like cows, oxen, even some like yaks because it's so cold. So they have quite like it's a sanctuary on paper, at least. It's nationally regarded.
Thank you. I wish that there was some way that we could help you, but we're just normal people here. But if there's anything you need, let us know. She'll kind of step back to Calliegh.
Oh, when is your shift over, darling?
In about like an hour. It's pretty late, actually. I'm getting pretty tired.
Yeah.
What's in here? It makes me feel unwell. At this point, the other partner is kind of like kind of getting on top of him, and kind of telling him to shut up, and like really just covering his mouth and just kind of really trying to stop him. he just
Well,
doesn't
you know
want
what?
any more.
If you catch me before I leave town, I will share a treat with you if you'd like.
He looks behind over like, please. Trying
Looks
to
like
get
your
over his
friend
friend.
needs a treat. He looks hangry.
Yeah, something's wrong with his arms. Just keeps waving them around.
At this point, you notice that the herd has taken tactical positions around you. The sheep are nowhere to be found, but you do see the Pakash in stairwells, fire escapes, out of dumpsters, gutters, anywhere that they can gain an advantage without being seen, trying to use the terrain to their advantage. They seem to know the land very well. The men in the suits feel an unwary, just a strange presence. They sense murderous intent. You can see them off. They arm their guns and they push you off.
Well, what's
Watch where you
going
poke that
on
thing.
here?
Have you been with the clouds? Have you been with the woolly clouds? And they speak in this kind of like they're very like they're obviously very stirred, and they speak in this cryptic language, but obviously referring to this pack you've been traveling with.
Are these people eggs?
No, I don't think they
They
are.
they're not wearing the striped like last time, and they don't seem to be like they obviously they're worried, but they're not like phobic. They're not like dropping guns and like crying out and scurrying away. Like they're still holding their own. They're just tense.
Okay.
Who do you work? Who do you work for? The town? Are you like the town police?
Sure.
What are they
Yeah.
called here?
That's exactly what we are. We're the town police. We are. That's exactly correct. And you can at this
Is there
point
a way to tell if
resist.
they're lying?
Yeah, you can. So,
Collie, I think they're lying.
so yeah, so he's trying to lie to you. Roll like a resist roll for me, which is just it's 6 minus what you roll, right? So if you get a 6, you don't pay anything, and then you can resist this lie that's this sweeping over you.
So it's I have to roll a d6?
Indeed.
Okay. 5.
Well, it's a 5. Okay. So you could choose the attribute just like normal. Well, I'm supposed to like tell you which one to pick. In this case, but I also enjoy like choosing. So if you have a suggestion, please say so. At this point, my instinct would be to go to instinct. But if you feel like something else would apply, please.
I think because I tried training to figure out who they were and that didn't work, and I think this is more of I have a gut instinct that
gut feeling.
Something is so I'm gonna go instinct.
Okay.
Sorry, this is the first time I rolled the resist. I'm not sure how it works.
Uh-huh.
So do I roll again?
So you can roll exactly. So whatever stat it was with the number of d6s it was, you can roll that, and just see what the highest roll is. So it was a 5.
5.
Still 5.
It's still 5.
Still 5. Okay. Yeah. So it is
Still
a
5.
success. Yeah. I mean, so you only lose 1 appetite. and you resist it, right? And so
Okay.
because you know 6 minus 5, so right, so you lose only 1 appetite. You are able to resist it. You definitely sense that this person is lying to you. How do you wish to press him?
Um, I mean, I know that we're new in town, but I think we've been around enough different kind of folks to be able to tell that you're not quite um the main governing policing body of this town. And I did offer to share a dulce de leche with you later. Is this
Different
really how
treat,
you
different
want our
treat.
relationship to start? Whatever.
That was beautiful. He almost like he falls to his knees, and he almost kind of breaks down crying. He's like, I can't do it anymore. I can't guard here. We're Yakuza, and he kind of just like admits that he's like this very hardened criminal, this gang criminal representing a Yakuza family, who's kind of taking. He is policing the area, but obviously you're correct. He is not town police. He's like, listen, just he kind of goes over to his friend. He's like, just let them go in. Just they already know. They already have, you know. And then he kind of points to the key. He looks at them. He looks at the key that was pickpocketed. He's like, I know you took it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I can't do it anymore. He just throws his katana on the ground, and his sai, his like backup sai, like under his suit jacket, and just it's just some weaponry dropping on the floor. Um, he kind of motions over to the door, and he's like, take a look for yourself. You decide if you want to go speak with Edwin or not, or if it stops here for you.
I appreciate you letting us in like this.
Can Colby take the sword?
She'll
Take the what? I'm sorry.
Can Colby pick up the katana?
Yeah. You
Be
can take
careful
the
with that
job.
thing.
Baron and Dinah, Baron Maple as well as Calliegh Mari can, as if they want.
Can Colby like whisper to Baron so that no one else can hear? Sergeant Hamm, should we kill these two? They're just letting us go into the building. It's like a very different
I
side of
don't
her
know.
all of a sudden.
I might be a little biased. I've had a few run-ins with the Yakuza before, and none of them were good.
So what if they're just gonna run away and warn someone?
Yeah, let's knock them out. Tie them up then.
They do seem affable. They don't seem like they're willing to. Yeah, you're suspicious. Colby's suspicious, but they don't seem like they're willing to cause a fight.
They've already lied to Collie once. They could be trying to do other lies.
Yeah. Let me just ask them then. Hey, you two.
I'm gonna walk over to him.
Anything you said to us a lie? Because if you're lying to us, I won't take too kindly to that.
No, at this point, I am without words. The majority of my friends that came with me overseas here, they're dead. There's really nothing left I have to lose, and these he like points, oh, like tired, he's ragged, points at these like pockets of wool and silk that like line the streets, the street lights, the gutters, the sewer grates, everywhere. out of the corner of your eye, they are the offenders. You just can't take it anymore.
I don't think we have anything to worry about, Colby.
Okay, let's go inside.
And I kind of give him this "you're lucky" look as I walk by.
You stare him down.
Yeah.
Callie.
Callie's gonna, as we start walking in with Mama Maple to the back, she kind of gets this like excited glint in her eye, and was like, you know, those Yakuza guys, they are not that bad. I was really happy to have met them.
Yeah.
Were you expecting
sick
something else
weapons.
here?
Well, I mean, they are trained killers. They're
So are
hard
you,
to
and
get
so
into.
am I. So is Baron.
Yeah, but they're a little bit of a harder organization to get into.
Right? Got it. Typically born into it, I guess. And we let people like Baron in, so
Kicked me out, too. Over some fucking yogurt.
But they did bring you back.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, to blacklist
Oh.
him.
Yeah, make up your damn mind, am I right?
Wait, is that why we've
Did you
been
stealing-
blacklisted? Is it because of Baron
It's not
here?
my fault. Yeah, it's not my
That's
fault.
what I was saying earlier.
We're not gonna blame me.
Right, then.
Now, if you have a little more evidence, then maybe we'll talk. But right now, this just seems like speculation.
Baron kind of steals the show for a little bit and extols, his cries, regarding the Yakuza and what's going on here. Like Colby said earlier, they wanted to go right inside and, just kind of push past them like, okay, let's go inside. In classic Chew fashion, you open it and you see something horrific. Immediately, you do see what seems to be kind of like a lab with modern equipment and two large, what seems to be like pressing machines with one in the shape roughly of a sheep and one in the shape roughly of an alpaca. You see tubes matching their size, upright and standing, blue tinged, amongst the white clinical background. Broken, flickering, sparking with spare circuits. You also see a sort of hole broken in the tile in the middle of the floor. Again, another sinkhole. This time, not necessarily maybe a gas line of sorts or a pipeline, but a cavern dug into the floor here. You smell something horrid and wretched beneath this gap in the earth, like rotten.
I guess we go check it out.
The Yakuza
Yeah,
look
that's what we
behind
do
you,
best.
looking at like behind the door, peeking with just two eyes, and they're like, "I told you."
I'm really hoping it's just some stinky cheese.
Some plastic cheese this time. Okay.
And Callie kind of lifts up her dress, the bottom of her dress, so that her petticoat is showing, and there's like a secret pocket she has in the ruffles. She pulls out her 69 special, just in case.
69 special. Who would like to take point here? Would it be the face? Would it be somebody else? Maybe our
Definitely not the
mascot?
face in this situation.
I will take point with a bag of Doritos, for sure.
Okay, all right. So we have our torta espadero, deep in Argentina, traveling inside this hole in the earth to seek out the rotten.
I've got a chip out, just like ready. I ate all mine already, so useless as a prop now at this point. But I've had a chip out, just like as I entered the room, almost like lined up, like I'm looking down the sight of a rifle.
Yeah, as it
And I got my-
gleams. Sorry, and you got your.
Yeah, I've got my 69 special out, doing kind of the same thing.
And can you describe what this 69 special is?
Yeah, so it's just like, it's definitely a stereotypical girl gun. It's just like this little cricket of a handgun, but packs like, that small gun that they give Will Smith at the beginning of Men in Black? Like, that's kind of like
The
what it is.
noisy
It's like
cricket.
that small, but yeah, but it packs a
The
punch.
noisy cricket. But it's real. Okay. So we have an unassuming firearm and a chip, this triangle nacho cheese chip that in the light gleams off this sheen of titanium, ready to, almost like sheet metal, ready to cut off whatever, it is it's thrown at, lead lined. Now, so torta espadero, this would be this would be a desperate situation, since a desperate position, since you're not sure really what's going on, and I would say that this would be a standard effect, since you're taking point. You're out in front of everybody else. You're not really guarding. So, what do you think? What attribute would be appropriate here, and why to search?
For sure, I think just because I'm like pushing forward and just sort of like going each corner, like as long as I have my hand, I feel supremely confident in anything I do.
This is the hot
My
shot.
bravery
It's
is
just in
taking the
there.
wheel. My bravery is-
The hot shot in you kicks off. All right, so let's that's perfect. Let's roll and see what you get.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
that's
lend him a hand, looking like where he's scanning. I'm gonna like scan the other way for any threats.
Okay.
Excellent.
That's
Alright,
one
that's-
appetite for an extra d6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
Okay,
5.
5. Okay.
That was your D6 too, thanks.
Nice. Hype. Okay. This is where, it's a desperate situation, but your effect is standard. So it's obviously going to be a scary success, but it will be a success nonetheless. You trip forward, and you kind of fall off this small tile digging into the earth, into this rock formation, and you smell the hint of brine and iron. All right, so like a seawater and like ferrite, so I guess you fall face first into what at first you think is a marinara, or maybe like a blood sausage pudding, but something tasty. You lick your lips, you gather yourself. It's not that.
I'm holding my sunglasses above the goop They're not getting marinara.
The aviators are perfect. Yeah, that's definitely a 5. You know, if it was a 4, they'd be drenched. It's a 5. You got that. You know, it's a little better, right?
That was my success.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
aviators.
that was the win here. The aviators,
Especially because my
are
microfiber cloth is soaked in marinara right now.
soaked in marinara. You see before you a collection of a cavern. I should say a catacomb of at least several hundred, if not thousand, pairs or piles of bone, human skulls, and roughly a sort of like black coagulated iron substance. You can only assume was blood at one point. You seem to have stumbled upon where a large percentage of these people have gone. They all do seem to be. I would say that there's a roughly 1,000. It's not like the entire city has been, you know, like annihilated or anything like that. We're not talking Terminator levels. We're not talking Android levels. But you know, still to a point where it's why people are in hiding. Things are much more out of control here than you initially thought them to be. And you start to hear the shuffling of hooves on the tile above you, as the rest of you are on kind of like that ramp, that platform at the beginning.
Get me out of this muck. This is disgusting.
Oh, yep, here. And I'll put my hand out for him.
And I start a grab on attempt.
In the distance, within, like, echoing through the caverns at the bottom.
I think we're in the thick of it now.
Yeah, you're able to grab
You're in
on.
the thick of it.
I could push you back down.
No. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris.
You hear some shuffling outside, and 2 yells. Some more hooves clacking, as well as some bacawing, and then a silence.
Well, I guess we should follow the sounds.
What other choice do we have?
Just watch your step. There's a lot of gook around.
I just got these
Right.
pants back.
I'm just covered in this stuff, huh? I would imagine.
Yeah. But you are able to pick up your chips, which, because, you know, they kind of lodged in some flesh. You're able to
I
kind
feel
of
like-
Got it.
I feel like Dinah has on those like orthotics with the Velcro, kind of like a bit of a platform to him. Tapered leg, so she's walking through this muck just fine.
Are we walking through the muck?
I believe we don't have.
I'll just stay.
So, you know, at this
can ride
point,
on my
there
back.
is like a choice, right? At this point, the alpaca, the pachka, the sheep, are still considered your allies. You know, you can go outside and speak to them, right, about what's going on, and figure out, you know, kind of ask direct questions, or you can continue in and, you know, kind of explore to see if you find something, you know, deeper. You can also go back and see if your friends are okay that you just met. There's really, you know, there's no pigeonhole answer here, but we are coming up on time. Free play is going to be ending in a little bit, where we'll be getting into what's going on in the city and why, who did it, regardless of the amount of details we may or may not have picked up along the way. So we're coming up on kind of a last major decision. What would the agents like to do here?
Callie would go deeper into the cave.
One deeper.
Yep.
Two
Mama
deeper.
wants to know what's going on.
3 deeper. All right. So we're getting on in there. So we're waiting. Is Colby Jack okay with wading through the goop?
You could ride on Baron's back if you want. Stay out of it.
She's
More
gonna hop
horsey?
on Darren's back.
More horsey.
I mean, he was covered in goop, but you notice
Oh,
he
no,
pulled
you're
a
covered.
fresh shirt out of safety. You're really not sure how he gets shirts and Doritos on him. He changes shirts and then buttons up only the bottom 3 and turns around and says,
Up on.
Okay.
Watch your feet. This stuff gets ankle. This stuff gets almost knee deep in some points.
Just like wrap her legs like around his waist, just like trying to be as high as she possibly can.
of course. That's what I would be doing if I had someone to climb on.
away from the river of flesh. Okay.
Marinara is what we're calling it.
Marinara. It's meat sauce. It's the same.
Yeah.
Marinara to go with the calamari.
Oh no.
It's spicy cocktail sauce. So as long you continue along, you are able to stay level until let's try to do like still want somebody to take face here, and that person would be kind of being the one to see if they're insightful about what's going on in these potentially labyrinthian caverns.
I think that would probably be me now that Baron has Colby on his back and has already fallen face first.
Colby could just like be in the crow's
Periscope.
nest, basically.
That's true.
Yeah.
Callie and
so
Colby
get
can
that
assist
view.
each other.
Yeah. So Callie, this seems to be a great partnership throughout the game. Callie, we can do a, whichever attribute you'd like to do. And Colby, you can go ahead and assist with 1 appetite for an extra d6. Just describe which attribute you want to use, Callie.
So I'm gonna use my training. So I'm gonna pull up my cricket, and I'm gonna just kind of close one eye and just scan everywhere with it, almost like I was looking, almost like there's a scope on it, just to like pinpoint each little like spot to make sure I don't miss anything. And I think I'm gonna dig in.
So
to
if
use my-
you dig in, then you have to choose either digging in or letting Colby lend a hand. But you can use
Okay, so I'll let
a
Colby
perk.
lend a hand.
Yeah, but you can use a perk if any of those are applicable.
No, I don't think they are. Not in this.
Okay.
So
All right.
3. Let's see if I can roll better.
And this would
Ooh,
be
a 6.
Yeah, awesome. Because I was gonna say this would be like a risky position, but it would be a great effect, since it's not really quite so large. It just seems to be more interconnected than initially thought. You eventually reach like this central area, and you happen to get a pretty good position on it. You're able to move along the gutters and the piping without kind of drawing attention to yourself, without kind of clanking on the metal. And you're able to point out these like passive least resistance for the other agents to do so, right? And kind of get in there. You see what seems to be a garden, and you very clearly see Cheap and Pachka kind of gulping down the marinara sauce, right, in this spaghetti cavern. It's a very clear view. You haven't been noticed, as there was no consequence. So, with this information, what do?
What's the smell like in this place? Can I just get a brief, quick?
Like rotten pork.
Okay, cool. That's amazing.
Um,
Yes.
um,
Colby like
do
has her
we know?
face, her nose just like covered, like trying not to smell anything.
Poor vegan
Yeah,
is
it's
gonna
acrid.
die
Yeah,
Do
it's
from
acrid.
fear.
do you think?
She's pale.
Do you do you think that um they're kind of eating their own? Would this be like cannibalism for them?
I'm not sure that's
Well, it
the
would
same for
be.
animals as it is for people.
They were people, right? Are these the same?
I
Probably.
think. I mean the I don't know about the cheap, but I know that the what do they want to be called? The pacas?
Yeah,
That was that?
the Pakash.
Gosh.
But the pakash, they were people.
Well,
We're very
maybe
human
it's
like
cannibalism light then.
Cannibalism like.
Do I is there
Diet
anything like
cannibalism.
you said that in the other room there were like tubes and stuff? Are there similar
yeah.
is there similar stuff in here?
I would say that there's equipment down here, but it doesn't seem to be. It just seems to be like debris. It doesn't seem to be actually like they have more of these creation tubes down here. They seem to be mainly rock, dirt, and this marinara, this cocktail sauce.
Do the animals seem to be like the sheep, the bakash? Are they like mixed together, or are they kind of separate while they're eating? Like they're eating like in different areas as a group.
So we recently had that video where we saw a standing goat leading a
Oh,
chicken
God.
into a house, and that's essentially what it looks like. It's a standing Pakash guarding a small herd of sheep as
Sheep.
they take part of this of their grazing, of their daily grazing.
Um, I think I'm gonna be sick. I think we should go. We should go.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one. This is pretty messed up. And it smells like
We're
a
just
fish's
gonna leave.
asshole.
Weren't we supposed to do something to help the people here?
Oh, yeah.
So originally, originally the goal was just to take. Remember, because I'm glad we're so focused on what's going on here. Originally, it was for just to take the Pakash back to their Montero compound, and then the last lead we had about that was like in the national park, right? So at this point, you obviously have more information about what they entail. And there's a decision to be made about whether or not to continue with the Pakash, towards their compound to figure out more, or to kind of confront them right away and figure out what's going on.
We traveled with them for 2 months. They didn't graze like this.
Right.
It's true.
How were they turned into those alpaca? I tried to ask earlier, but there was just something scratchy in my throat, and my voice box died.
I mean, they had mentioned being forced to eat something that they didn't want to eat. Maybe this.
Where's the Pakash
I mean-
leader at?
Where's the? I'm sorry.
The Pakash leader, wasn't there like a?
Yeah, Mushido 84, right? So,
Fluffy
Mugido is kind of
number 80,
84.
whatever.
Fluffy 84, right? So he's, to your knowledge, the strike teams followed you in when you got to the city, but you kind of lost contact before you walked in the cavern. You can go, outside and call him for him. At this point, he's still, your ally.
I think we should get one of their own to maybe initiate a conversation. Maybe it'll be less
Screw that. I'm gonna talk to him myself. Hey, Fluffy 84, get on down here. We need to have a
Aaron,
chat.
you're being too loud. You're being too loud.
Okay. So this is definitely a risky position, great effect, call out. I would say this is almost definitely guts, unless you can come out, unless you can give me a different
Good,
one.
sounds good to me.
Yep. Where you kind of
Colby is
reverberate
still
throughout the
on
cavern.
Aaron's back.
Yeah, so you can feel the shaking as Baron's his chords kind of level
She's
out
trying
throughout
to
the
cover
cavern.
his mouth.
Or
And I go to bite. I go to like snap finger, and you come down there. And
Are you being infected?
3 and a 2.
Oh no.
Is this something I could help with because of saccharin?
Saccharin.
Roll another d6. Someone wants to toss one
Yeah,
my
'cause
way.
they're required
So-
to pay attention to me.
Because
I'll
we're required
dig
to pay
in.
attention to you. Dig
Just-
in.
Just let me dig in. I'll just dig in.
Yeah.
Something explodes. Your choice, head chef.
Nah.
4.
No.
Before. So let's see. I just wanna reference something real quick here. This is interesting.
So something explodes. It does not say gets to choose, but I want you to choose, obviously, for plot reasons.
I will say this. The failure in a risky situation is this. You hold on to yourself, you're able to call out to the Pakash, to Mushido 84 as he is able to travel down, and you start hearing hoofs kind of clanking down the ramp. However, it's so much force that you're unable to hold on to your friend, and Colby Jack goes right into the goop. And the cheap start getting closer, and as the cheap get closer, so do their Pakash guardians, walking right alongside them. They start to encroach. Yeah, they start to encroach on Colby's position. They start to encroach here. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm going to I'm gonna let go of my bag of chips and then like smack them of it and throw a bunch of Doritos into the air and then grab them from the air and then just throw them like shurikens until I've like completely created like a little shuriken line, like line in the sand.
A circle, a salt circle.
Yeah, like a circle. Yes, a circle around Colby. A circle of Doritos.
Dorito shurikens.
Didn't they just sink into the marinara?
It'll, yeah, maybe. They're very lightweight. They might stay on top like a cake.
That's true.
They start bubbling up as and as you're focused on that, Mushido 84 kind of comes down with his entourage. Um, as Baron is focused on recovering Colby, Dinah, you are left as the face that Mujido, now obviously much more solemn, less cheery than he was before, greets you. I see that you've come upon our sordid past. Looking right at you, Mama Maple. So it's like I would say like I don't know, like a 7-foot tall alpaca person standing upright looking down at a 70-year-old Mama Maple.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Callie at first. Okay. She looks at this person and says, "Alpaca. I'm sorry. Did you just speak English to me?"
Of course. You know, we don't just speak Spanish. You know, we speak English too. I just figured it was easier this way. Um, you know, maybe to
Right
communicate
then.
with you since, yeah.
What exactly are you doing here?
I should ask you the same. I just needed your help
No.
getting to the compound. Tell me, take back what was ours. Why are you here?
Wait, so this is the main guy that we were traveling with?
He is. It is. He's giving you a decidedly much more just angry, vibe. He's not about it.
We're here to make sure that nobody else gets turned into an alpaca against their wishes.
Colby, roll a desperate position, limited effect. Guts roll for me.
Guts roll. Desperate, limited. What does that subtract? If she has like the insecure condition too.
Yeah. So, well, because it's not like we'll use it as a resistance roll instead. So several cheap start to come up to you, and they try to bypass the shuriken line. Baron, obviously, you can lend a hand here if you wish.
Yeah, with my boldness.
Oh God.
So that
you
would
can
be
roll one more with my
yeah,
lend a hand.
one more. So he chests forward, trying to push away the cheap.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All spectrums.
So Colby is able to.
I leap into the circle with Colby and just sort of like start, almost like how a chicken starts off with another, like how a rooster starts squaring off with another rooster. I just start doing that, but like with my chest hairs out instead.
Okay. Oh man, yeah. This is obviously really effective. It's Colby's able to get on their feet. And with Baron at their side, you seem prepared against what to come. Mujido 84 now seeing what the lost position that he's in, asks for mediation. He says, let's leave the cavern, all of us, and we'll talk about what's going on. Or at least you can tell me what you think is happening, and we'll take it from there. At this point, seeing your resilience, your ability to make it past, they drop hostilities. Even the sheep that were eating marinara are herded with red wool, red or black dyed wool, up the ramp and back out. And we're finally back out in a sunny but cold terrain, still in a relatively low populated city. At this point, we'll be moving on to the investigation phase, where so we collect the details there. We won't solve the case here because I mean there's still more of it to be had. Not everyone has to be done in every session, and that's okay. But let's just try advancing, what we think we've gathered so far and what's been going on. Here's the conspiracy board. You're able to kind of get the agents are able to get their stuff together and kind of discuss amongst themselves as to what's happening before they approach Mugido 84 for the end of tonight. We can start by discussing articles, burning questions, conspiracies themselves, or we can get to, kind of do the same format we did last time with kind of talking about a motive, a method, and a suspect for whatever we think is going on.
Hope he needs a shower.
Yeah, really.
Or something. A dunk in a lake.
Yep.
So
Same.
I'm like, Colby thinks one way, Sam thinks another way. Sam's not trusting these dang alpaca anymore.
These Pakash, yeah. Not so chill with these Pakash, huh?
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
at first getting here, Callie thought that, especially after hearing the name Montero and then Edwin, she thought maybe they had something to do with it. Now I think it might be the alpaca that are turning people into more alpaca.
Yeah, to like try and build up
And
their
making these
army or
sheep.
whatever.
One of us. One of us.
It is complicated, but definitely there isn't like a full picture. So we need to start making some connections that might. So we think it's the Pakash, from what I'm hearing. What did they do exactly? You said they're creating an army.
Oh.
How?
I don't know if it's the cock.
I mean, this could be
We still
like
don't know
some
anything
sort
about
of
Edwin.
synthetic meat. This could be some sort
What
of
does the
synthetic
USDA
meat
have to do
experiment
with
gone
it?
wrong,
What does the USDA have to do with it? Indeed.
That's what I'm saying.
'Cause,
Maybe
like-
that's how the USDA is involved, is because this is some sort of governmentally funded experiment gone wrong, that maybe the results of the experiment have taken over. Kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen Tank Girl, but like the kangaroo people in Tank Girl.
That makes sense though, because
mean-
if Freddy was in charge of this, in this experimental thing that's going on, this research, and was tricking people that she worked with into participating, and now they're turning more people into these things so that they can fight back against the USDA, I guess.
That makes sense, but then
Could also be-
what do the sheep have
Okay.
to do with it? Are they their pets?
Exactly.
So, I mean, if Edwin is the one doing like the genetic engineering and like modifying, couldn't he also be modifying like their thoughts and desires? So making it so that the alpacas want to create more alpacas, that they're hiding the chicken within the sheep so that it's easier to transport and not an illegal substance like chicken is.
Yeah, exactly. Placement. Chicken replacement.
Maybe the disgusting thing they have to eat has to do with these cheap grazing on this marinara, and that's
Pizza.
how the people become alpaca.
Ooh.
But Ham tasted the marinara. Is Ham turned
But-
alpaca?
He tasted the marinara, but did he eat the sheep's poop?
So it did it's that's the real asking the real questions. It smelled like rotten pork, but you know, and it did taste that way as well. Is it ham though? So
Do people taste like ham?
I don't think I've ever eaten a person before to know.
why I don't think I've ever tried.
Hold on.
I-
No, it tastes like
I've
chicken.
done research in college.
Or
While I was a physical
human.
anthropology major, and it's apparently like deer. You know, more like venison. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but
we
I-
will. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, if we think that what we are walking in were people, that the sheep we're grazing on, maybe they were the failed experiments.
Oh yeah.
But why were
Maybe
there
this is where
clucking?
the sheep were clucking. No, the marinara on the
Yeah.
floor. Maybe that was the
Oh.
failed people paca experiments.
Ooh,
Oh.
well, that's extra gross.
Yeah. And the
Well-
sheep are to help clean it up.
They're not doing a very good job at cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's like a literal river, right?
Yeah, it was quite a lot. It was quite a lot.
And then the terrible chicken. What is that?
El pollo terrible. Terrible, exactly.
I think that's something we would have found out at the compound. We didn't get there yet.
So we need to go to that national forest and confront Edwin.
So we will save that for next time, of course. But I
Yeah.
do want to hear what we think the answer to these questions are in the meantime, right? Not that it actually we're solving anything. I just want to see how that affects it for the purposes of roles and also for next session. So let's start with suspects. Who do we currently think is at fault, just like with last time? Right, there were multiple people who had involvement, but there was one person who really was at the core of what was going on. Who do we think that person is here? Creature, thing.
I think
person.
Freddy Sketty because this DA.
Freddy,
Well, because
USDA.
because of the. I don't. It has to be because they said Pasha or no the Pasha, the furry ones, fluffy.
Yeah, the
64.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, they
the
said-
mushido, yeah, the mushido, the soft, the fluffy mushido.
Got it. They said
Mushido gente
they
fluffy.
call us fluffy and seemed like upset about that. Did we ever
They
find
were
out who
upset.
they were that they were referred?
Most likely, I mean, so they did talk to you about their frustration with Montero and the compound at which they did have people, their family imprisoned at. So they do seem
Yeah.
to definitely be going through hardships, and they don't seem to be lying about that because everyone did pass those checks to get that information, and they didn't seem to, you didn't really catch that vibe. So it definitely seems to be true for now, or at least that they seem to strongly believing in. But then obviously what occurred just happened. So how do we consolidate that?
Yeah. So my thing was that they were saying they called us fluffy this and that. So obviously they're referring to
Montero.
people who created them. Yeah, Montero. Okay.
Yeah. So
Because I mean they're
most
going
likely
by
gonna
those
be-
names. They've embraced it. and they don't like it.
We got
Go
one for the USDA.
I kind of don't think it is the USDA because the alpaca let Freddie Sketty ride for a month, and one of them was really buddy with her. So one of them could be lying, or neither of them are lying.
Maybe not all of the Pasha know about that.
The Pakash conspiracy
And they were
rises.
Right.
hired at one point by the USDA.
They
Can't
were.
we find that
They did
out?
say that.
Yeah.
They were. Sorry, they were hired. They were hired by Montero, but they don't seem. But they don't seem to have. They do seem to have a negative relationship with the USDA, but they don't seem to have a negative relationship with Freddie specifically. So it's not
I
like
still
they.
think it's
You know,
Edwin.
so we got one for Edwin. We got one for.
Yeah,
the
I kind of have to
Pakash,
go with
and
the.
one- Oh,
I'll have to agree
Is-
with Colby on the Edwin Montero.
two for
'cause
Edwin.
Edwin is the Montero face.
okay. Nice. And Dinah, what do you think? What do you think is at the core? Who's at the root of this?
Well, I think that Freddie had something to do with it, but I don't think that she's the current cause of what's going on right now. So I'll join them in saying that it's this Edwin person.
Okay. What about the method? What's been going on that has propagated all of this? So that was who propagated it. This is how. What do we think is
That
going on?
I don't think we know, because
Yeah.
that's
Is-
very confusing.
We just know what the alpaca said. They were made to eat something disgusting that they didn't like.
Yeah.
We
It's
don't know
true.
what that was or how they were forced to eat it. I mean, it could be the tubes that we saw, but
Yeah, so it's like some secret technology basically that we're just not
yeah.
familiar with yet.
Okay. Honestly, that's a pretty good roundup of the information that we've gathered thus far. That's pretty good, right? If we don't have enough to make a decision, just even talking about the information is pretty solid. So that's pretty good. What about why? Right. So that was suspect and method. What about why is what's happening going on? Or do we feel like we're in the same position where we have even less of an idea, or do we feel like more?
I think I'm kind of with what Sam was saying though, with the just I don't know, involving
Like
trying to replace chicken, something, right? That's kind of what you were getting.
Yeah,
at with
so
the-
they're like hiding
Yeah.
the chicken within the sheep, kind of basically. But then that kind of is like, why are the alpacas so protective of the sheep as well? Like, is that something that
Yes.
they've
I mean, but
programmed to?
the guy said he was hired by Montero, who also hired the Yakuza, who are assassins. So he could be making
money.
he could be using the alpaca as like a secret guard force. Like they're not gonna look at an alpaca and think that this alpaca is trained to act like a person or be able to do anything. It's just an alpaca. It's unassuming.
Well, and the fact that we just traveled through like multiple countries into Argentina with a pack of alpaca and no one thought anything of it since alpaca migrate around, maybe? I don't know anything about alpacas, so.
These aren't ordinary
I think-
alpacas, so even if they don't,
It's
these
true.
do.
Please do.
I think with the current information we have, I think that's the closest answer we could get to, is that the alpaca are the guards of the cheat, which is a way to make chicken, but it not be chicken.
Yeah, maybe
And
there's like a
it's
legal
also
limit
not
on how
pulp-
much chicken genetics.
But it's also not Polt free, it's Polt plus.
Polt plus.
And it's
So
not grade A.
That's pretty solid. So let's, in total so far, you've gotten 2 die, 2d6 for the party to roll on advancing a little bit more of this mystery as you go and speak to Mugido 84 for a small conversation before we hop off and do our closing for tonight. Calliegh, I would like you to roll 1d6. Dinah, I would like you to roll the other d6. And let's see what we get.
A 5?
Pretty solid. A 1. Okay. So the 5 definitely takes precedent here. And so you win, but there is a consequence, which is essentially what was happening right now anyway. Which was that it's not really like the danger clock is progressing. The danger clock is not progressing, but it is taking you a little bit longer to crack this case than you initially thought. You're scratching your heads. You've missed something, and you have to kind of double back. There's not enough to go on, but you can put 2 and 2 together. Between Baron's taste test, between the smell, you can almost positively say that there was both chicken meat in the caverns. It was some basically chicken broth that you could definitely taste, but you could also taste human flesh. So there is some proportion of the humans, people, as well as chicken, that is in there. To what extent and which of them is eating which, you're not really sure. But definitely people and chicken has been confirmed by your crack in the case thus far.
That makes it sound more like that it's byproduct of the experiment. The more that you say that, because there would be chicken byproduct probably left over from trying to combine it. Sheep, right? Anyway, sorry.
So
conspiracy
far,
thickens.
no, it's good. No, it's good. The
Plot
conspiracy
thickens.
thickens.
What
No,
I'm
the
saying.
board. No, it's good. It's good. So it's it's some people, some chicken, right? So something illegal, something also illegal, right? Which one is more illegal? I'll let you decide. Mugido 84 is there to kind of speak. Who would like to ask him or engage in a quick conversation again before we hop off for tonight? Get a little bit more before we get back next week.
Hey,
Does anyone else have high
Fluffy.
charm?
I don't have
Don't-
high charm, hot shot.
Don't call me that. Don't call me that.
Well then, start picking new names for yourselves. I just want to know one thing. You know you're eating people. You aware of that?
We are. Of course we are.
Pretty messed up.
And we were hoping that it didn't have to come to this, that you wouldn't learn what was going on, but clearly you did. There's no point in lying anymore.
The sound of a Dorito bag opening.
Yeah, the chips, the super crinkling, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I love it, right?
Very
It's-
loud in the cavern.
Very loud, yeah, very, very in there. He's like, meh. And he spits on you. He's like, come on. He's like, I'm sorry. It's
You son
it's
of
a habit.
bitch.
I'm sorry. It's a habit. I just have to get used to it.
fuck?
Okay. We're gonna let you in on something that not very many people know. The Yakuza outside had to go. They know, but they're our enemy. Because Montero is our enemy. We were created to be Broma formutaires. Broma formutaires are creatures that become what they eat. And so you have this distinct class of chicken, sheep, and human alpaca, Pachka. Bakash. So.
This just got weirder.
They're like.
So if you eat a human again, would you become human?
For a time. In fact, quite a long time if we've had enough to dine on, and the rest of them, like a couple behind them. Snicker.
Well, you're not eating us.
No. You're different. You're FDA. We know you. You're enemies of the one called Sweet Pea. The other ones behind him, Sweet Pea. And
The cat?
They cry out in like horror. Yes, you do not understand. We wage a war with these cybernetic creatures. They are truly are the ones that we fear.
Tofu's like popped out of the bag.
No.
In agreement.
He's like, that's okay. That's a real one. It's not. It's fine. But the others, the lasers, the death saws, our people have never known such fear than the companions the USDA create or hold in their esteem. Yes, you humans are troublesome. Yes, Montero has created us and done something past their limits, but these cybernetics, it's not right. But we are. But we're totally right though. And then he eats like a piece of like human jerky. Want some?
Did you eat the Yakuza guys?
There's two suits on the ground that like two Bakash are like trying to get into.
It's like and I looked down and noticed the jerky's got like elaborate tattooing on it. Like, whoa, hold on.
the ties are red, but so are the dress shirts now.
I don't know how I feel about this. Disgusted, actually. I know exactly.
We still need your help.
Disgusted.
We still need your help. They did this to us. Broma formutaires are created this way. We do this to sustain ourselves. Surely you understand. You eat too. Everybody needs to eat.
Where are you getting the people from? Other than the Yakuza snacks from earlier.
A tumbleweed passes along the street outside through a window.
Ah! No!
Oh, that's disgusting.
Were you guys gonna eat those people from the village we were in?
The village?
Was that your plan?
Can't just go around eating people, you know that, right?
It's not like we were. More like we were checking stuff out. That's why we kept our distance. You know, and
You were circling your prey.
Yeah, we were just seeing if you guys were, up to par, right? We saw that we might have needed your help after the great dragonfly in the sky, exploded. Baron, at this point, you can throw 2 super ignited chips and cause explosions in different places, either to intimidate them or at some of them if you want to take a little bit of revenge.
I want to collapse this cave.
So you throw it behind you, and you seal it in. Like a couple of chief like cry out, in horror as the light dims for them, and the cavern crushes, collapses.
You know how
Um,
the occasional Dorito is like just loaded down with seasoning. I was like super seasoned. That's what these are. I've got I keep these in a special pouch
the
on my
chips,
belt.
they're only the chips at the bottom of the bag, so you just have a whole bag
Yep.
of the chips at the bottom of the bag.
Cluster bombs.
Cluster. Oh no, they're stuck together. Even worse. There's so much cheese. Okay, so you throw a pineapple chip. You throw a pineapple chip down. And the shrapnel of it is too much for for it to sustain itself, and it collapses. Mushilo says, "Fear not. They'll be delayed for a week, but we'll have them back out, and our numbers will swell. Unless you do something, and you can, but maybe you should hear us out. Maybe you can see that we were right after all, that the city is ours after what has been done to us."
Yeah, I feel like if my
and
character
he-
says any more, it's gonna be violence.
It's going to be violent.
It's gonna be roll
And
initiative.
roll initiative, and he who we defend against, el pocho terrible. If you think that we kill in large numbers, you know not the havoc that he wreaks in the country of Guatemala. He builds an army. This chicken meat we have in the caverns, it's all we have. Why do you think there's a need to create so much? Do you see any chicken here? And we will drop it off there. We got people eating Broma formutaire alpaca, Bakash, who become people. We got Cheap, who eat chicken. We got Montero hiring them. We got the USDA and their cybernetic animals involved with the Sword of War. And we have a chicken in Guatemala raising an army of sorts, as the politics of the underworld seem to take over. This has been an amazing second session of Chew, as we'll leave off here. A case unsolved for now, with too many plot points and threads to chase after. Until next time. Once again, I want to thank our amazing sponsors, Weave the Tale, Penny for a Tale. Please check out the Kickstarter when it comes out. Follow, check out the Facebook group in order to go ahead and get updates on the comics as well as the upcoming Kickstarter. Things are going to be heating up in the next couple weeks here as we uncover more of this delicious wrapping. My name was Anthony, again, head chef here at We Have the Tale, at Prainntheplague on Twitter, and we will go down in the same order that we did last time. So, Calliegh, Dido.
Yeah, I'm Dido. You can find me on Mondays and Wednesdays over on Swindler's Den, where we play a little bit of 5e. On Wednesday, I think we're all about to die, so that'll be fun. I would like to commend Baron tonight with his whole shake weight and sharing the joys of exercising on alpaca with Colby, because that was just priceless.
Yes, please. So we don't have time to do all the debriefing questions, but I would love commendations. So while you're passing through, if you want to give out any, we'll add it to your progression chart. That's amazing. Back to it. We'll do Dinah.
I am Mickey. and you can catch me on the TTRPG channel. That's TEATRPG. On the last Sunday of the month, we have our talk show where we even have a musical guest. It's pretty awesome. We also have a game of Kids on Brooms running on Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays you can find me on Honey and Dice playing her original music-based game, Composure. And then my MVP of the night was Colby Jack for all of the hand lending that was happening, and the water bottle shake weight was quite awesome, very funny.
Use that appetite. Get that shake weight. Awesome. We'll go Baron Leopold next year.
Hi everyone, I'm Leland/LeopoldTheJust. You can find me next year. I don't actually have much going on. We have a Zweihander show coming up on Wednesday nights, kind of around this same time slot, but like an hour forward. Just keep an eye on my social media at LeopoldTheJust for more details about that. Hopefully it'll be pretty fun. And as far as my one of my favorite moments, probably just Grandma Maple just leading the charge in alongside me as an equal combatant. It was I don't know, it was awesome. It's like Baron and
Back to
Grandma.
back.
It's like just go roll
team.
and Baron's not a young gun himself, so it's like, the two old folks just roll in, gun in
The
hand,
senior
burrito
squad.
in hand.
The senior
or
squad.
whatever weapons Grandma Maple uses. I don't even know. Probably just the purse, right?
And hard
cane.
candies,
yeah.
hard candies. Yeah, canes, hard
Hard-
candies. Got quite the weaponry, quite the arsenal and the
Yep.
armory in there.
Excellent. Very fun, though. Thank you
and-
very much for having me.
Yeah, like always. And lastly but not least, Colby Jack at ScribblingPenny. Sam.
Hello, I am Sam or Scribbles. I also golly, I am tired. I also am Leave the Tail on Discord. I can't talk, guys. Twitch. It was just a good game, and my brain is all in the conspiracy mode right now. You can catch me next on Sunday playing Poppy in Pathfinder 2e Age of Ashes, where we are currently in the country of Katapesh, or the nation of Katapesh, and all the antics and stuff that happen there. That's at 8:30 p.m. EST on Sundays. Other than that, you can find me this upcoming Wednesday at 11:30 a.m., kind of leaning into the UK crowd, running Flabbergasted, which will be coming to Kickstarter soon. So super excited for that. Total Change, more 1920s, just Gatsby dresses and mystery and society. Other than that, make sure you check out the schedule for Weave the Tale on Discord or on Twitter, where you can find all our up-to-date stuff. The next show that we have will be Mutants and Masterminds on Sunday at 2 p.m. Ran by Pope, so we are super excited for that. Otherwise, I just want to commend Baron Hamm for giving me a piggyback ride and protecting me with his Dorito shuriken wall of cheesiness. It was pretty great.
Anytime.
I'm just excited.
The torta.
But yeah, I'm so tired.
Yeah, the
so
torta
I'm
torta
done.
Spadero never disappoints. No, it was great. Thank everybody so much for coming back. We'll see you back next week. And yeah, this is the play test. We're having a great chance to play it. Come check us out next week. Where we have leads in Guatemala, but we also have unfinished business in Argentina. So let's see what happens next week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See us next week on Friday, same time at 8:30 Eastern. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Supposed to cluck, bok, bok.